regarding content that has aired, please contact our station directly. We will be happy to work with you to schedule appropriate airtime. For more information, please reach out to the station office. 860-456-1111.
Take a look at the map of United States and you'll find Connecticut.
Take a look at the map of Connecticut and you'll see the place of my birth.
It's the grandest place on earth. Willimantic, my hometown. There's a good main street where good neighbors meet. Miles of smiles keep chasing you around. You'll be living, life's worth living. Once you're here, you'll stay. We have everything to make a man a king in Willimantic, USA.
Hey, this is Ken Folan, the voice of Windham, your host of Windham Weekly. It's Thursday afternoon, and my co-host is unavailable today. That's Mr. Mark Doyle from the Windham Board of Education, from the Bottom Line. But in his stay, my God, am I lucky tonight, because I'm going to show him what the number one rated show is all about on WILI 1400. Mr. Bill Sayers, our councilman at large from the Democrat Party, who's also running for re-election on row A.
Hey, thanks, Ken. I really appreciate the intro. And I'm glad that you recognize that I am the number one show on WILI on Monday afternoons.
You're the number one. This is the Mayor Tom DeVivo. You're the number one Monday show.
He doesn't like Tom.
You're the number one Monday show.
Well, listen, Tom, I hate to say it, but you wouldn't be mayor without me, so don't forget that.
Guys, this is not the Mutt and Jeff show. It's the Ken Folan show today, Windham Weekly. And let me tell you,
Thank you.
Listen, it's only the Ken Folan show today because the very honorable Mark Doyle can't be here.
Yeah, well. Anyway, so we were kicking off, as you know, we like to bring on more educational folks in the public schools and other community members. But we are going to get into a little local politics ourselves. Why the heck not? So today, as you already heard, the voice of our incumbent mayor, the great leader of Windham, Mr. Tom DeVivo, Democrat, running for re-election.
Tom, stop
He's running for re-election under the Democratic banner, as always. And additionally this year, endorsed by the Independent Party of Windham, that bottom line party, row E, Mr. Tom DeVivo. We're so happy he could make some time to be with us today because we know he's busy campaigning and working, not just to campaign, but still doing full-time working on the benefit of all of our community to grow our city. And along with him, I have Tracy.
Torrejon.
And she is
not Holmes.
Terry Home.
She is our candidate. When I say our candidate, she's on the bottom line again, row E. Running for the Board of Finance. I think you're going to find her to be extremely qualified. I'll let her do her own resume really quick. We'll do a quick step because we'd rather just have you, the folks, give us a call at 860-456-1400. We truly need you to call in. Great opportunity for questions that are on your mind that either Tom or Tracy, even Bill, for God's sake, if he took his pills this morning, could answer for you. So I welcome our guest. And Tom, how's it going campaigning this year?
You know, I'm finding it refreshing. Many people who know me well know I love to run for office. I love meeting people, talking to people, being involved in and helping people find solutions. Unfortunately, though, if people want to call in, I do have to leave at 4:25 today because I'm off to some board training. I was asked to be on the Access Board, and it's a 2-year term. Before you can take over, they put you through board training, which is something I'm really going to, if I'm fortunate enough to be reelected by the fine residents of Windham, I'm going to be looking to develop board training protocols for all our boards. And I think that's important. A lot of people say, well, what, they see different behaviors. And I think if we have some training and respect and understanding of each other.
I would agree,
What's
Tom.
that Bill's phone?
Or
Or his hearing aid?
Whatever. I would agree with you 100%, Tom. I mean, training of anyone who's doing public service, even as length of time you have been doing this for our community, your entire family actually. It's important to get a refresher, or if you're new. And it's also good to go over Robert's Rules of Order and learn that. But more importantly, Tom, and you're a guy who's been in business for so long in this community, is to understand, to be collegial, and to work in work relationships into whatever council you have, or Board of Finance or whatever, and build that rapport so there's trust, there's honesty, and transparency. And I think that's really what I know the bottom line's about, and I know that's what you're about.
Well, you're right, and Tracy should get a moment, but I think that's why I always throw with the bottom line, because I really don't like politics where we're going to embarrass the other people. We're going to do whatever we can to make them look foolish. I want success for all. Everyone should have the abilities to help our community move forward, to help find jobs, to help find revenue for the town. And, we seem to be in a time where it's, let's make statements that just make people feel foolish or put them in a corner. And then, I've never been comfortable in that mode. I think that everyone, I just had a very friendly conversation with Curtis Eller outside, the station here. So, while we may have different paths to the future, we still see we want to get to the same place.
So I do want to give Tracy plenty of time.
Of course.
And we will. Tracy, really, I'll give you a quick synopsis. Obviously, she's, to us, she's a breath of fresh air, highly intelligent, educated at Smith College, right? She can tell you her degrees. And she is a businesswoman in town.
A liberal bastion, I might add.
We don't need to hear that.
Yeah.
But she is
Just
the owner
a bunch of free thinkers, Bill.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Tracy, tell us something about yourself, will you?
Please, Tracy.
I feel like you guys, I don't know if I should leave this up to you. So let me do this myself. So my name is Tracy Torrejon, and I'm a Connecticut native who wound up leaving the state for about 20 years, lived in other states, and came back home and made Willimantic my home. So I've been here for about 7 years. My husband and I own Bacon Funeral Home, Adams Cremation, and Funeraria del Pilar in town. So we get to know and have probably met many of you. The reason that I want to be on the Board of Finance is that I feel like I stand for everyone in town. There's a wide variety of people, a diverse population, and I want to make sure everybody gets a fair shake, especially when it comes to finance. There's a lot I need to learn about how this town is run, but I think if we are fiscally responsible and take care of everyone, that probably everyone could agree that that would be a good place to start.
Tracy, tell her a little bit about granted, I know you took time. You had 4 children, all grown now, so you're ready to recommit to, although you serve on many boards for groups in our community, you're ready to recommit to public service now. But what is your professional background, where you worked? And so people have an idea. You're not just some person who wants to be in politics and be on a board.
Well, when I graduated from Smith, which was a very long time ago, I was recruited and hired by Accenture, which is one of the largest consulting firms in the world. And I worked for Accenture for 10 years. I was an executive and wound up working with our team from an internal perspective. After I started having children, I stayed home for 20 years with them. However, there was not a moment during that time when I wasn't volunteering for something or someone. My kids went to a total of 13 schools across 4 states, and I can guarantee that I had a voice in every single one of those schools. I was also involved in some outside of school activities. I was the treasurer for a large nonprofit soccer club in Rhode Island, for example. I did that for a number of years.
Yeah.
She brings a lot of experience that, we have some great members on the Board of Finance now. a lot of small business folks and things like that. But this brings more of a corporate scope, and I think this community has grown to the point where it needs another set of eyes and fresh ideas. Because I had a conversation with Mayor DeVivo, I don't know, earlier this week or maybe Saturday or Sunday. The guy's 24/7 at his job. If you want his cell number, I'll give it to you. Just call him at 456-1400 though, while we have him here. But we talked about the financial situation that we're in this community, and what did he say? He said we need to grow. It's like in sales, the best way is to open a new account, basically, and get more cases, more dollars to help, the top line, and work out of that, and at the same time look at the expenditure. So, any ideas, Tom, on expanding that?
I think it's important to grow our commercial base and to try and bring families back into living in our community. One of the reasons I've been supporting this new school is that, look, we have 4 buildings. We're going to shut down 4 buildings, have 1 brand new one. Maintenance on the building that's brand new is significantly less than an old building. Electricity will be less. Heat will be less. It will have a lot of modern amenities that will attract families. But it's really, people forget with our budget, because we vote on our budget, right? We're voting on an expenditure plan, not a revenue plan. And I think having some smart people on the Board of Finance, we have some already, but having new blood will help us look at ways to increase our revenue. But one way we can save money is having budgets passed consistently, keep moving the town forward, have our grand list grow. We will get lower bond rates when we go to borrow money. When we build this new school, which I'm confident it will pass on this election cycle, we will borrow money. If we can borrow money at 2.75%, this difference between 4% is significant, because we'll borrow, a lot of money, and the state backs us up. So the better our bond rating is, the better our Board of Finance handles our money. That's why I'm looking forward to hopefully see Tracy get elected and get some new blood in there, because we do have a lot of people who are there just specifically, we're going to slow down our spending. Well, we need to look at revenues. Revenues are where it's at. That's how you grow your business. You don't grow your business. My brother and I own Willimantic Waste. We didn't grow our business by buying less brooms and less paper. We grew our business by increasing our revenue. And so that's the key, I think. If we can increase our revenue without raising taxes on private homeowners. I mean, I recognize how high taxes are. Start knocking on doors, you see it, right, Bill? And I hear it all the time. You must hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It affects all 5 of us in this room, because we pay a lot in property tax. And so we have to, increase, find other ways to bring revenue and save money too by having lower bond rates.
Well, I think we took a good first step, Tom, with getting 804 Main Street approved.
$60,000 a year in revenue.
$60,000 a year revenue, plus 110, possibly 110 feet on the street. On Main Street, helping out our Main Street businesses. I think he said 55 apartments, right?
Oh, that's right. That's true. It's 50. It's 58. I was thinking 110, 58, but you're right.
Okay, well, we'll get Tom on board soon here. Yeah, so,
the numbers didn't match.
Right. Not to mention the parking fees and everything else. And those are the kind of things we have to keep looking at. We're going to have the new development going on up behind Sears and Home Depot. That's going to put some more taxes in our pocket, too. But we really need to build our tax base.
Yes.
And by building a new school, I'm convinced that will help.
I concur.
I think, Tracy, the bottom line is 100% behind this school building. Again, we're asking the community to support that on November 4th, that's for sure. As a candidate for Council at Large out of Windham and Willimantic, I certainly am pro-education, and I see that this is the new business model. But I'd like to hear Tracy's take on what this means to Windham in the future, because obviously if it passes in November, that's phase 1, and then there's probably another 3 to 4 years before we see any building activity to the benefit of the new school business model. I mean, it's different. It's like not different than funeral business has changed, right? I mean, your husband been doing it for 30 years, so there's a change in business model.
Well, regarding the school, first of all, I fully support any new schools because our children deserve the latest technology, safe schools. We have beautiful old school buildings in town, and I know some out there say, well, why can't we just renovate them and fix them up? We can save so much money doing it that way. In reality, it doesn't work that way. I just lived through an example in North Carolina where they actually destroyed an entire high school that had probably 2,500 students and rebuilt on the exact same spot because that was much more cost effective than trying to retrofit and fix a school that had been probably saw 3 or 4 generations go through it. So if we don't spend money on our students, then our students aren't going to want to stay here, and then they're not going to want to make their lives here, and they're not going to contribute to the cycle of growing our city and our town and keeping Willimantic the way it is today. So I'm fully behind the school.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, listen, the building committee at the high school, it like I always said when I went on it, it's over and done with now in a lot of ways. It's $112 million. I don't know how much less or more it would have been to build a brand new building, and I'm proud of that building because it came out great, and I know the teachers and the staff and the students and the families really appreciate it. And don't think for a minute that the kids don't say, hey, wow, this community really cares about education. Look what they invested in me as a student, and that's one of the reasons. There's many reasons why we went with Tom DeVivo for mayor this year and offered him, and it's tough. And Democratic Town Committee, I can't say enough to say thank you for allowing Tom to accept the endorsement because I know how it is. I know politics. But the biggest reason we supported Tom was because he was, and he is, and you can ask anyone, especially at the high school building, he's a huge supporter of our school district. And maybe one day that's what's going to be on part of your stone, Tom. I don't want to bury you tomorrow, but I think here lies Tom DeVivo. He
There's already a
supported our
stone,
school.
so don't worry.
Yeah,
But
it's all right. We're not going to pick for any words on there, but I'll always think of you that way.
okay, I appreciate it. There's already, but wow, I haven't
an
gone there.
endorsement.
My
That's
sister,
an
my
endorsement.
baby sister Gina just texted me. She's listening to me, so I'm hopeful she can move back to town, to help us. But it's good to have family in the community, and so our community though is so giving because I just want to throw a shout out that because I know Bill's involved in Covenant Soup Kitchen, but if this time of year and with the federal stuff going on, there's a lot of families that need money because I'm going to be leaving like in 6 minutes. So if anyone wants to call in, but you can call my cell if you want. It's 860-208-7482. It's out there in the whole world anyway. It's on the town website.
Tom's
too.
right. Tom's so right.
Yeah,
For those of you who haven't heard Ray Aramini's ads on this station, the Covenant Soup Kitchen is short about 400 pounds of food a day. We really need the help.
It's scary.
It is. It is. And a few weeks ago, I was in a meeting where we discussed the federal budget that was passed, and it is going to really seriously affect about 2,000 of our residents here in Windham. They will probably lose all of their benefits, and it's going to be hard. And as neighbors, and these are not people who are homeless right now. These are people who could end up being. And as neighbors, we have to start taking care of our neighbors, and we have to figure out a way to support them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we do. Windham will never. One of the things everyone says, well, Windham is a poor community, so it's just an effort, I see, to make the poor poorer and the billionaires bigger. I've been a business person my whole life. You've been in business. When we started off in our careers, do you ever hear of a trillionaire? We have a guy in our country that is going to earn $1 trillion. I don't even know how much that is. I think it's $1 billion, right?
I had
It's
asked you to keep that a secret.
I didn't know you made that much, Bill. No,
Yeah,
it's
come on.
been in the papers, but they seem to be wanting to make more and more billionaires and more and more.
Well, it's a very private club. That's all they care
100
about.
years.
That's all they care about.
It is. You have to care about people.
Yes.
That's what I think
Yes.
that's why I'm
You know,
glad
if a few
to
of
see
those guys
Tracy.
just dropped $1 billion, you know, we'd be able to feed everybody in the United States.
That's right.
I know.
You sent $1 billion to the town of Windham. If you're a billionaire out there and you're listening, feel free.
Yep.
But
We'll name a new consolidated elementary school after you. Yep.
No, I think the community is lucky to have everyone who is willing to put their name on a ballot. Again, the election is
It
November,
is.
November 4th. The early voting starts in about 11 days.
And it's an honor to actually run for office and to be thought that, you know, it is. And I appreciate the honor.
And
I
one of
look
the
forward to
things that I
seeing what
want to
Tracy
say,
does.
one of the things that I want to say is that, you know, I hear a lot of comments about Tom, and you know, he has money, and you know, he's this, he's that. Tom didn't grow up any different than I did. All right, what he and his brother accomplished is amazing, and they should be proud of that.
Wyndham
And-
High graduates, too.
Wyndham High graduates.
Yeah.
That's right, and you know, they should be respected for it, not condemned for it. You know, their folks were his folks, and Tim's folks, and the whole family were very philanthropic, and they did a lot for this community. And Tim continue to do that to this day. So you know, keep your negative comments to yourself. Is what I want to say.
Listen, it's always easier to say good things than bad things. Those things. Bill has learned something that I don't get rattled that much, and it's better to forgive and forget than to. But I do want to say one thing
No, you're
because
not
it
me,
was in
Tom.
the
I
paper.
don't have a temper.
Oh, jeez, now I lost my train of thought.
It was in the paper.
But we all what?
You said it was in the paper.
It was in the paper about the frog. When Sweeney Frog is going to be going back to Wyndham Center because the folks at the library had requested it, and the school board had considered it. So I worked hard. I have found a frog. I will be bringing it out in the next week or so. I found an extra to give to Sweeney. It's going to need some repair. I reached out to Napa Auto Parts to get some Bondo stuff to get it done, and he said to help me out. So we
Well,
will. Jeff and Napa, he's also
The
another.
Democratic Town Committee would be more than happy to help you also.
Yes,
Okay?
absolutely. So who will come and help me get it out of the basement where it needs to come 2 flights
Just
of
give
stairs?
a call.
I guarantee you I can get a group of guys together
Just
to
give a
come get
call.
that
No.
out, and we'll get it done.
Okay, thank you. I'll get it with a hand truck. So we're going to a commercial break for our.
No, we're not doing
No,
a
not
commercial
commercial
break,
break.
but if you have to leave,
I
we understand.
do have to take off because I'm going to be learning about board. But Tracy, you're going to do a great job on the board of finance. I look forward to serving with you two again next year if I'm fortunate enough, and see you soon.
We're
I'll be
fortunate.
back.
Thank you, Tom, for
All right,
taking
Tom,
the
I'll
time.
talk to you later.
No.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to be calling Ken because he's my new boss.
Excuse me, close your eyes for a second.
Anyway, so here we are, folks. You know, I do thank Tom because he does keep a
It'd
very.
be nice to have Tracy get a word in edgewise.
No, we're going to get Tracy, and Tracy's going to. Let me first go through the whole slate because I think that's important because we run as a team, just like the Democrats were running as a team. I know a lot of people in this town they're going to vote that row A, and they need to understand the importance of going right on down to row E, the bottom line, where you're going to find some. I'm happy to say, and I'll say it about myself, some real quality people who are willing to give their time to this community. And they start from the top. Tom DeVivo, right, for mayor. In the Windham Center, we have Susan Blankenfor running for council. You have myself, Ken Folan, running for council at large. Then you'll see Tracy Torrejon running for Board of Finance, and I'm telling you she's going to be the most qualified. Nothing against anyone else on there. She is highly qualified. I think this community is going to be so fortunate to vote for her. And then follow up by that on the Board of Education, a name that everyone knows, my co-host and dear friend, Mark Doyle. And that's what we're going to bring. We're going to bring people who want to work together, build relationships, knowing that we never, ever will agree on everything altogether. No one's walking lockstep. There will be discourse, but it'll be with respect. It will be with understanding that, hey, in the end, put your party hat away. And that's at the bottom line. We don't wear party hats at our thing. You got to understand, if you want to count, we just determined this week that there's 4 Ds and 2 Rs on our ticket. We had no idea because we don't ask that question and we don't care about that question. We care about, as you're going to hear on these ads coming down the road, that we care about, do you want to make Windham better? And we want to be a part of that. We want to be able to offer solutions. Tracy, you're the newest to the community and new to the ticket and a new name for people. What do you see that you think you can make an immediate impact on? Whoa! Uh-oh!
I don't.
That's like the blue. That's like the blue books in college.
Yeah, that's a whole essay. Well, I can tell you, I did go through the audit of 2024 and I didn't highlight anything. I was just trying to understand how the town operates and how the budget is put together. And I don't know how much detail the Finance Committee is provided from the different departments that are submitting their budgets, but I think that's one thing that we can do as a board is take a look to make sure that money is spent in a way that will benefit the most people in our community.
That's important. The important thing is to ask the questions. We have people, I was on the Board of Finance for a term. I did obviously 12 years on the Board of Ed, but and I know budgets because I work closely with Doyle on our school budget, which is the largest budget in the community, is this Board of Ed budget. And in Tom, it'll be available, Bill will be available. People are going to be surrounding you. Like I said, there's some wonderful, you're very fortunate with this board that hopefully you'll be elected to, and people will trust you with that, to get on that board with and communicate and make that relationship. That's the best part of getting involved, is the relationships that you make. You can always, go grab a slice, at Trigo over here and talk to Garnett, and she's on the Board of Finance, and she understands business, and you can build that relationship from there. And it helps when you have a relationship when you go on these boards, because people are going to listen, because you are going to be the minority person on that board. But that's okay. And I always tell all my candidates back in the day, you're not going to win the war, but you might win a battle every now and then. And it shouldn't really use those terms anymore, because we are working closely with the majority party. I did forget to mention in Willimantic on the town council, we have Roy Dingler. Now, everyone knows Roy as Mr. Christmas, this guy, and I, and Bill, and Mark. We've worked very hard starting up holiday lights on Main, and that's what people enjoy. But Roy is much more than Christmas lights. He's been here since day one with his family, his mom and dad, his own children. He loves Windham. He's like Bill Sayers in that respect. He absolutely loves Windham, and that's why he said, yeah, Ken, I want to run on the bottom line again and work, because I want to make sure my town continues and gets better. Go ahead, Bill.
I just want to do a public service announcement, and that is that Zamara and I have been working with a small committee, and for those of you who attended last year, those of you who would like to attend this year, the holiday gala in the Bellingham Ballroom will be the 15th of November this year. Very similar to what we did last year, except the theme this year is going to be The Great Gatsby. So put that in your calendar, folks. Tickets will be available soon, and last year we sold out really, really quickly. So I think there'll be 140 tickets this year. So, we look forward to having everybody back again and raising some more money for Windham Cares, for Project Emo, and oh gosh, who else are we working with this year? I can't remember right now. Kind of embarrassed on that one. So anyways, folks, we look forward to seeing you again this year.
Tracy, have you started? Yeah, I know you're planning on doing door to door, and our hope is you're going out with, Mayor DeVivo.
Right.
So you'll set that schedule up. Is there? I don't want to. What's your tag going to be? What do you? What? We're not making promises. We're trying to make an effort to make things better. And so, what's your methodology to when you look to that budget and you start gathering information, you're educating yourself on it, because you've got about 4 months before that new budget process really starts once you get on the board.
Well, I guess there's a couple things that need to start thinking about, and I really think we need to be fiscally responsible. We need to look at where we spend our money and how we earn our money and how we can bring more money to the community. And I actually had an idea about that, which I'll share some other time. But it's just, I love this town. I had never been to this part of the state before I moved here. I really love it, and I want it to continue to be a great place to live. I live right in Willimantic, and I wouldn't change it. I live in one of the big old houses, and I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone in town who doesn't know the
Bacon Funeral
Bacon
Home.
Funeral Home.
Beautiful old Victorian.
You lose how empathetic you are to people, and it's not an act. It's real, and I think that's how you're going to take this. And it's a serious job too when you're helping people in their time of need. And I think that's how you're going to step onto the Board of Finance. This is a very serious position.
I got to tell you, I've been going through the budget, and I've been rechecking figures and looking at stuff, and I don't want to scare anybody, but I think we're going to start out next year with a really big hole again. So I think that there's going to be a lot of work ahead for the town council and the Board of Finance, and these times require serious people, and serious people are required to solve the problems that we have ahead. And I think that the Democrats and the bottom line offer those kind of people, the people who are willing to put in the work, the people who are willing to do the work. I think that we need to prepare for a tough time ahead, and we need the people who are going to face it.
And we're doing the work for the right reasons.
That's right.
The whole point of what we do is to support all of you. And it's something that should be taken very seriously, and it's something that, as the Board of Finance, the budgets need to be taken very. I know they're probably already taken seriously. I'm not saying that they're not, but every single step, we just need to look at everything from a neutral point of view, and just try to keep serving our people as best we can.
I'm going to ask Tracy a question. I didn't ask her before when we first met, months and months and months ago. But I think it's going to be refreshing for the community to know that the bottom line ticket has all new people except for Mark and I. And I've been away from the local political scene for over 10 years. After all the years, I put on 30, and I just took a break. And Mark, of course, has stuck to it. And he's relied upon for the school budget at this point. I haven't seen any chairman of the Board of Education, that includes me, Lynn Ide, etc., who've always asked him to be the chairman of the Finance Committee. Mark has committed himself to that. And I think he loses more sleep than anyone I know in this town over that massive budget. So besides myself and Mark, Tracy is new, again, for the Board of Finance. I'm telling you, extremely qualified.
Can I give you a little background on Suzanne Blancafleur?
Just a minute. So Tracy's new.
Okay.
Then we got Roy Dingler, who is new, but not new to Willimantic, that's for sure. I mean, lifelong resident.
No.
And then Susan Blancafleur out of the Windham. So I'll let Bill get us a little background on her, and then I got a question for Tracy.
Well, I first met Suzanne about 40 years ago, I think. Maybe more than that. And we worked together for a while. And then she split off. She has 2 master's degrees from Trinity, and she went to work for the Department of Health, and she spent many years there. And she now is an adjunct at Eastern and teaches. She owns one of those old, hard-to-heat houses out there on the Windham Center Green, or just off the Windham Center Green. And I think you guys picked a wise candidate there. I think she will make a fantastic addition to the town council. I think that not only her education, but her compassion and her ability to understand the needs and wants of people who are less fortunate than we are. I think she'll be a great asset.
No, I'm very proud of that selection too. We've got. There isn't anyone who doesn't have advanced degrees. Not that makes a hill of beans to me in some sense. Mm-hmm. But everyone is well educated, articulate. They're willing to put their work in to study the budgets, to study the problems, and offer solutions and to work as a team.
Tracy, personing her profession, really isn't stiff at all either. So,
no, she's got a great personality.
No, she's very easy to work with and very, has a good sense of humor too. Considering.
Well, the one thing I've met so many people through our businesses, and I think it's people. When someone is in mourning, everyone's the same. So the political differences, the cultural differences, all of that doesn't really matter when the family comes together when someone dies. And I think through that, I've learned that, the most important thing is that we all come together for a common good. Because if we don't, then I don't know what the path to our future is going to look like.
In that response, you probably already answered my question, but I want you to go into a little more deeper feeling on this one, okay? Mm-hmm. We explained to you about the bottom line when we were talking to you about running, and then we talked to you about working with the Democratic Town Committee and working together as a team, because we can easily build relationships, and I think with the folks that are on both parties, that there's very similar in respect to what they want and how they want to work together. You've lived in a lot of states, and I've only lived in 2, but I've been here the majority of my life. I've been here over 43 years now, and I got involved right away, like yourself at this point. There's not many communities that have an independent group like the Bottom Lines in a majority party like the Democrats that work together. What is your feeling about that? How does it make you feel running for the first time and then not going with a majority party, not seeking out like the town committee chairman and all that stuff? Actually,
in a lot of ways, that was probably the most appealing reason that I was, that I'm excited to hopefully or to pursue a spot on the Board of Finance.
Mm-hmm. Party bosses are very important.
But the message is so clear and so simple, and that is something. If it's just about forgetting about politics, putting that aside for a minute, even though it's town government, just put that aside and look at who we are and who we want to be, and let's just all work together to get there. There's so much going back and forth now that politics is almost a difficult subject to even discuss. And but I support the Democratic Party, and I am so thrilled to be a part of the Bottom Line.
Yeah, well, I just, again, it's to me, it's of no concern, but like I said, 4 of our running mates are registered Democrats. That's their national affiliation. There's no such thing as, the Bottom Line Party is an independent group. And again, we care about people in the community maybe a little differently than some candidates. But Tracy, just for the record, is a registered Democrat, just like, I'm a registered Republican, but I'm not a MAGA Republican. I've always been, and the same with Mark. We always look at the numbers, of course, but socially we're very liberal. So overall, we're very moderate, and I would rather work with people like Tom DeVivo and Bill any day. If I need to argue my point, I will, because I'm hoping that somewhere along the line we'll meet in the middle on things. And some things we'll completely agree on, and then some things we never will. But I think ultimately we all want what's best for the community. And that was my motto when I was on the Board of Ed as the chairman for all those years, was forget your hat, man. This is about the kids and the staff and making progress for these children. That's again why I'm supporting Tom, and our group is supporting Tom, and we hope all our voters do. Again, he's on row A. He's also on row E with the Bottom Line. And we want that support because we need someone who's pro-education in that seat without any questions, and he'll do anything for this community. He really would. Tracy, take a minute and slowly give the people your contact. I don't care if you have to spell it out. Give them your contact information so they can reach you. Obviously, that's important because we want to be available and open to as many households as possible. We can't obviously get to every door, but we need to, if you can get out your information as you feel comfortable about.
Well, I will tell you one place you can always find me is at Bacon Funeral Home. We live there as well. So if you're ever looking for me, there's probably a 95% chance that I'm there.
Hopefully you won't find me there.
Yeah, hopefully I won't see any of you there. But I can always be reached there. My cell phone is 401-218-8571. I text. Texting is probably the best way to contact me unless you happen to stop by the funeral home.
Do you have an email address for yourself?
I do have an
If you
email.
wanna share- if you do, if you don't want to share it, don't.
It's Tracy, TracyTorr 0712 at Gmail.
Yep. So Tracy's going to make herself available. She's going to start hitting the doors. I would be surprised if sometime over this weekend, next week, she's out with Tom DeVivo introducing herself. She will be there to answer the questions to the best of her ability. She's going to take her knowledge of finance and business with her. But more importantly, I think it's when you're knocking on doors, you can talk about issues, but meet a neighbor, meet a new friend in town, and someone who cares about our community. And because you want to stay away from guys like Bill Sayers. He doesn't walk to too many doors or past too many donut shops. Not like me, slim and trim. I am Ken Fullen, the voice of Windham, and you're listening to Windham Weekly. 456-1400. Please call. Tracy and Bill are here today.
Ken, you keep that up. Tracy and her husband are going to see you a hell of a lot sooner than you think.
Listen.
And we are very good at spotting foul play.
Oh, well, you might have to put them back together.
So,
weed chipper and all.
So again, Tracy's here. It's bottom line, row E. She's running for the Board of Finance. Myself, Ken Fullen, running for the Windham Town Council at Large. Mark Doyle, running for Board of Education. Roy Dingler, Willimantic Town Council. And Susan Blancafor out of the Windhams for Town Council. I'm here with Bill Sayers.
Listen, let's make it easy, all right? Vote row A and vote row E. That's the best way to do it. We're going to take care of Windham's growth. Every one of us loves Windham. Every one of us is proud to be here. And every one of us wants to move Windham forward.
And next week on our show, we are going to have, I hope, a few more candidates join us. And then, I don't care if we're at the end of the month, we're going to start bringing our regular people on because, honestly, politics is fun, but this radio show is more informative and more fun with people in our community that are just doing their thing, and they do special things. We had, whether it's the students at the middle school doing a play, we love that. I've got kids at the elementary school at Sweeney who had perfect attendance, and by the way, the school district is way up on attendance this year.
That is fantastic news. Great job.
The superintendent is as engaged as ever. We had, Tracy did a wonderful job, but this Iris Gomero, we just had her on last week, our superintendent, and she is engaged. I mean, she's focused on what she wants done to help all the students.
Well, that's amazing to hear. And, of course, we got the great Ken Fullen, who's about to put on a dinner for the boys soccer team. Is that it?
The Windham High School boys soccer team.
Yes, Ken's doing the cooking. So I have notified Windham Hospital. They will have additional people on staff that night.
And I have notified Bill Sayers that we're going to need his big SUV to come to my house and
pick up all that food.
This week is chicken cutlet week, by the way, and sauce. I already did the meatballs. I've done the sausage and peppers, and I've done the lasagna.
So I can't help but say it again. Vote line row A, vote row E. For the betterment of the town of Windham.
Right. And I appreciate that. And, I appreciate you, Bill, and you, Tracy, for taking the time, not just for being on this show. Again, it's time away from family and your business. It's given to the community. That's what public service is all about. It should be for nothing more than that. But we appreciate when you come out, when we have anybody on this show, because it is an extra hour of their day after they've worked all day long and got to probably go home and do some more work. But it's key, and it's key to all the charities and groups that are in this town that rely on donations, and that's why we love this community, because we might give our time, but we're all giving our money and effort to help these folks who are less fortunate.
Covenant Soup Kitchen, folks. Covenant Soup Kitchen.
Absolutely.
We could all use it.
So next week, again, we'll probably have some more candidates on. The following week, we want to go back to our regular programming of
normal folks,
of folks that, to me, make a bigger impact on the lives, and that's the teachers, the students.
Thank God.
Well, Bill can stay at the donut shop later in the day and have an extra eclair, and I'm not sure what Tracy does all day long over there. But
We may not want to know.
You don't know, yeah.
no, I'm only teasing. It's a noble profession. It has to.
Yes, it
it's
is.
a service that has to
You
happen.
know, it is a service that does have to happen. And,
Sure.
And honestly, I will tell you, we really love what we do, and there's
You
a lot
have
more.
to.
There's a lot more laughter than you would expect in
Tracy,
this business.
any last words on asking for the vote? Because that's what, in the end, you ask for the sale. What's the vote?
Well, first of all, I would like you to vote for the bottom line party to make sure that we can get, and the Democratic Party. We care about our town. We're doing it for the right reasons.
Amen.
And Ken said something. You said something, and one word stuck in my mind, and you said moderate. We have different party preferences, but moderate is such a word that we don't use anymore, and we don't hear anymore. Everything is one extreme or the other. So,
Tracy, thank you. Thank you for running with us.
Hey, Ken, thanks for having me. Too.
Absolutely, Bill Sayers. Bill Sayers, ladies and gentlemen. And I am Ken Follen, the voice of Windham, signing off.